Why do many people consider Elden Ring to be the best video game of all time? Today, I just wanted to give my opinion and complete retrospective, as when I played this game, I was shook. This game is amazing. Everywhere you look, there's art, and I just wanted to speak on it. So yeah. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to be posting about once every 2 weeks, maybe even once a week. I want to do retrospectives and video game critiques, and I play video games from indie games to AAA experiences, so whatever you guys want to see, I'm willing to do. I might make a KCD2 video after this, so yeah. Elden Ring is the best video game I've ever played, and it's hands down the best video game of all time, arguably, and I understand that. But from an artwork perspective and storytelling perspective, it's just a beast. Like, I don't know, if this game came out again this year, it would be Game of the Year again. And considering all of the games that have come out, this is a crazy take with KCD2, all of that, but this is genuinely a brute force of a game. And I think the reason it was built this way is because of all of the titles that came before it that From Software has put their heart and soul into. You see, to understand Elden Ring completely, we must understand the stepping stones that From Software had to take to make this game, from Demon Souls all the way up until Sekiro, starting with Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 1 being the first stepping stone of Elden Ring. This game starts you off as the undead, not knowing anything, building up your character, building up your knowledge, and even with all that hard work, you still don't know anything, yet you still push. It's the fight of humanity. Dark Souls 2 being my favorite out of the trilogy, you start off with this curse that takes all of your memory, and the whole goal is to build up your identity once more. It's not about truth, it's about identity. Dark Souls 3, it puts you into a silent, ashful world where you must rekindle its light once more. Now you have Bloodborne, kind of the opposite of Dark Souls, where instead of not knowing much and knowing the same amount as a rock, this one you know too much, and it's implied through insight that you can see the entire cosmos and humanity has drained itself from this. You see, what makes From Software very stand out from other game companies is they tell their stories through pain and misery of the player, but through knowledge, and this is where it comes to Elden Ring, the best video game of all time. And I'm going to tell you why this is the best product in gaming culture. You see, similar to Dark Souls 1, we start out with no knowledge of the world, we don't even understand, and we the player just have no clue what's going on, and we must build up that knowledge. Just like Dark Souls 2, I can compare this to how humanity has lost itself, and we are fighting for the remembrance of our own identity. And through the process of finding the Elden Ring and becoming the Elden Lord, it's very similar to rekindling the flame in Dark Souls 3. You see, Elden Ring is not just a product, but a collision of all three stories. And the side parts, like Estelle, like the Elden Beast, are very connected to the lore of the cosmos of Elden Ring. And this can be compared to the Bloodborne cosmos that we see in that game, and why, once we learn too much, it becomes a problem to the gods. My journey becoming the Elden Lord. When I first stepped into Limgrave, I knew nothing. I don't understand the mechanics, the lore, or why the tree could glow like the sun. All I had was the sword, a bit of courage, and a curiosity that burned brighter than fear. I spent hours, and I didn't even know that there was a story, and I still loved the gameplay. I died a lot, but that's just how Elden Ring teaches you, and how From Software likes to teach you. Death isn't failure, it's instruction. Every boss, every fail, and every mistake is a lesson. When Margit broke me, I learned patience. When Radon fell, I learned awe. When Melania struck me down from the 100th time, I learned humility. And when I finally stood as Elden Lord, I didn't feel victorious, I felt grateful to admire this game as much as I did. The art direction of Elden Ring is not just beautiful, it's emotional, and every color has a purpose. Gold, the divine, a promise of order. Blue, the arcane, of the unknown. Crimson, the rot and decay of the world. And the gray mist, the silence of things. These worlds aren't just painted, they're felt. The swaying grass of Limgrave whispers of hope, the rotting swamps of Caelid hum a dirge of despair, and the Erd Tree, it stands eternal, both a beacon and a burden at the same time. Elden Ring to me is more than just a game, it's a mirror. It reflects how we face struggle, how we fall, learn, and rise again. Every time I press on, I'm reminded that even in ruin, there is beauty, that grace once lost can always be found. And so, I became Elden Lord. Every boss in Elden Ring is both grotesque and breathtaking. Godric is a patchwork of stolen glory. Radon is a demigod so loyal he learned gravity magic just to keep riding his little tiny horse. Malenia is the embodiment of beauty, rotting from the inside out, grace twisted by a blade and a bloom. And that's what makes them unforgettable. Their designs aren't meant to repel us, they're meant to teach us. The horror shows the cost of ambition, the beauty reveals what is lost. Every scar, every mutation, every impossible form is a piece of lore wearing a heartbeat. From Software has mastered an art few studios dare approach, creating monsters that make us feel something deeper than fear. Pity, admiration, wonder, grief, curiosity. These creatures decay before our eyes, and we decay with them. That shared suffering is what makes every victory meaningful, every death personal. Across Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and Elden Ring, one truth becomes clear. FromSoft doesn't just build worlds, they build cycles. Cycles of fire, cycles of blood, cycles of grace, and cycles of knowledge. We chase fading embers, forbidden knowledge, and shattered divinity because each game makes us play through the world's history, not as heroes, but as witnesses. When Elden Ring released, it didn't just become a hit, it became a global phenomenon, a world people didn't want to leave, a story they kept uncovering long after the credits rolled. And now, years later, one question remains: what is the future of Elden Ring, and why has it become the community's favorite game of all time? Even today, the Lands Between feels like a place still breathing, not static, not finished, but waiting, a game that is replayable. Players return not because they must, but because the world still whispers. There are hidden corners most people haven't found, cryptic NPC lines players still debate, entire builds and secrets that remain undiscovered in the code of the game. Elden Ring's future begins here, and the idea that the world is never truly done. FromSoft has created a universe with the depth of Middle-earth, the scale of classic fantasy, and the mystery of myth. That means its future is limitless. New arcs, new characters, new lands, maybe even new ages beyond the Erd Tree itself, like the DLC. When Shadow of the Erd Tree released, it wasn't just a DLC, it was a message. The scope, the bosses, the new storytelling, it all proved that Elden Ring isn't a one-time event, it's a foundation, a starting point for something bigger in games. The DLC's world expanded sideways, not forward, showing us the Lands Between has layers we haven't even begun to understand. And if FromSoftware chose, they could pull endlessly from its history. Prequel games set during the War of the Shattering, a story centered on Marika and Radagon, a game focused on the Age of Stars and Ranni's ending, an entire new landmass across the sea, a sequel set thousands of years after the Tarnish's age. The list goes on. The DLC proved one thing clearly: Elden Ring isn't a chapter, it's a universe. The freedom to play your own myth. Elden Ring gives players something most games can't: the freedom to create your own legend. Every Tarnished is different, every journey feels unique. You're not reenacting somebody else's destiny, you're forging your own. Few games let players feel like authors of their own saga. Elden Ring does, and that sense of creative identity is addictive. One of the reasons people love Elden Ring so fiercely is because it trusts them. No giant arrows, no flashing lights, no constant interruptions. Exploration is guided by complete curiosity, not markers. The game treats the players with dignity. You are smart enough to find your own path. And when players make a discovery, a cave, a hidden entrance, a talisman tucked beyond a cliff, it feels personal and it feels very deserved and earned. Elden Ring didn't just build a player base, it built a culture. I mean, speedrunners, no-hit runners, challenge runners, cosplayers, lore scholars, to community fights against Melania herself, to debates about Miquella's motivations. Elden Ring became more than a game, it became a shared language for this community. And at the heart of everything are the bosses, creatures that are tragic as they are terrifying. No game captures the feeling of walking through fog like Elden Ring. The dread, the thrill, the music erupting, the realization that you're facing a myth made of flesh, the cutscenes being super artistic and colorful. FromSoft knows how to make the player feel small, when to make the player feel powerful, when to make the player feel humbled, and they also know how to reward a player. Every boss is a story, every death is a lesson, and every victory is a memory. So what comes after Elden Ring? The honest answer is, whatever it is, it will shape gaming again. Elden Ring set a new standard for open world, for combat depth, for environmental storytelling, for boss design, for players' freedom, and for emotional impact. It changed what gamers expect. It pushed other studios to rethink what a AAA open world game could be and can be. It reminded the industry the challenge, mystery, and artwork that they're not outdated, they're timeless. The future could be Elden Ring 2, a new universe built on its philosophies, but who knows? But whatever FromSoft cooks up next, they've already altered the DNA of modern gaming. So my final thoughts on Elden Ring and the new age. Elden Ring is the community's favorite game, not because it is perfect, but because it is alive. Because it gives us stories we create ourselves, worlds worth exploring, battles worth remembering, and mysteries worth chasing years later. So what could possibly be better than Elden Ring?